Hello, fellow human! Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and let's read some r/I don't work here lady stories. To the first one, lady, you need a life coach. Okay, so this happened yesterday. Thought it was worth sharing, so I'm just going to jump right in. So, a little background. Back when I was in high school, I used to work as a lifeguard and occasionally teach swim lessons to some younger children at this gym in my area. It was a really nice gig. Picked up my own hours, got a free membership to the gym, and the deepest part of the pool was only like 4 feet deep. Super easy stuff. I stopped working there about 4 years ago, yet I still maintained a membership all those years after I started working at my current company. Fast forward to today. I'm finishing up my work and I'm walking through the pool deck to get to the sauna. While I'm walking through, I'm recognized by one of the kids I used to teach swim lessons to. He was in the water, playing in the shallow end, and his mother was sitting off to the side looking at her phone. As soon as he saw me stood up, shouted my name, and came running towards me for a hug. I asked him how he'd been doing, and this is when I hear this kid's crazy mom, CM, shout, "It's about time you showed up!" Thrown off and not sure what she meant by this, I simply look at her and say, "Excuse me?" CM, "I'll cut the crap! We've been waiting for 15 minutes. His lesson was supposed to start 10 minutes ago." At this point, it dawned on me that she actually thought I still worked there. I was honestly so surprised she thought I worked there, considering I was wearing a sweat-drenched gray t-shirt, black shorts, and running shoes. The uniform for teaching swim lesson at the gym is essentially the exact same one as lifeguards. Red swim trunks that says guard, and a whistle around either my wrist or neck. So, I politely say to her, "Ma'am, I no longer work here. I haven't in 4 years. I just came here for a workout," and I pointed to my attire. CM, "Well, that is not true. I see you all the time here. You've taught my child a few times. Where is your supervisor? Why are you lying to me?" Me, once again, I haven't worked here in 4 years, but I did teach your son, and that is why I said hi to him. Now, I'm just a regular customer like you. I'm just trying to work out and go home. I can give you my supervisor's number over at XYZ Incorporate, but I doubt he'd care very much about this. At this point, I kinda see it registering in CM's eyes, a look that looks something like, "Oh, crap! Maybe this guy actually doesn't work here anymore, but I need to save face." At this point, she says, "Well, the least you can do is get us a few towels for our troubles. My son is going to be freezing, and I forgot to grab some on the way out here." At this point, honestly, I am just completely floored. Where do people like this get their sense of entitlement from? I'm trying to think of an appropriate response, and me being the wise butt I am, offered to hand her the sweaty small little handcloth I was carrying that I used while I worked out. CM shrieked as if I was holding out a dead puppy. "Get out away from me! What are you doing? Go get me some towels, you jackbutt!" I simply looked at her and said, "Lady, I'm not your errand boy. You don't talk to people you don't know like that. You don't need a lifeguard for your kid. You need a life coach for yourself." Honestly, never felt so bad butt in my life after saying that. I just turned around and started walking away as she yelled at me. It was like a scene from a movie where the cool guys don't look at explosions. Well, I feel bad for the kid. Imagine his enthusiasm at seeing someone he admired being extinguished by the lovely experience of watching his mother scream at a stranger. On to the second story. I do work here, lady. Black Friday. This is an actual experience my grandma shared with me. Grandma is 62 and works in an outlet store that is fairly popular in our area. They can wear whatever business casual attire they like there and don't put on their name tags until they clock in. She had to open on Black Friday. They had a crowd waiting at the door. She tried to politely make her way inside and someone said, "Hey, there's a line for a reason, lady. Wait your turn." There was no line, just a crowd milling around the door. Grandma said, "Oh, sorry, I actually work here. I'm going to open up real quick and I will see you inside." As she pulled out her keys, apparently this received a side, eye rolls, and zero cooperation. After repeating, "Excuse me, I work here, excuse me," with her keys out as she wove her way to the door, someone else literally leaned against the door blocking it until she reached around them and put the key in the lock. Finally, she gets the door open, and as she's trying to get in, they all start trying to push in past her. The lights are still off inside at this point. She has to shout, "Excuse me, we open in half an hour. You'll need to wait." It manages to get the doors closed and locked behind her. No one apologized after seeing her inside working later or acknowledged their mistake. I should also mention it was generally people about like the same age as her, and only about a dozen. She was in no real danger. Also, it's an outlet for network created for shopping at home that uses an acronym for its name. Man, this shows the importance of side doors. On to the third story. Okay, lady, I'll load your 12 bags of mulch for you. At a local big box hardware / plumbing / gardening / etc store, let's go and blouse, picking up a few bags of topsoil for my garden. As I'm loading the back of my truck, some woman drives up to the loading area and tells me, "As soon as you're done with that one, I need you to load up my order." She then shoves the receipt at me and gets back into her SUV, where she promptly gets on her phone and starts chatting away. I plan on finishing up my load and leaving, but while I'm working, I can hear her on the phone. This store hires the laziest people. The kid they have doing the loading is so slow." So on and so forth. Okay, lady, we'll do it your way. I load the back of her SUV with the wettest, nastiest bag of mulch I can find on the piles, being sure to stack them neatly in the back, and also being sure that I slash the back of every bag open with a box cutter. Tell her that she's all loaded and hand her back her receipt. "Have a good day, ma'am." "Took you long enough, didn't it?" She slams her door and drives off. Not as long as it's going to take her to clean 480 pounds of moldy wet mulch out of the back of that SUV when she gets home. I mean, you could have just left, taken the receipt and disappeared. Then she would have had to buy another load worth. On to the fourth story. No, I still don't work here. Waves bye-bye. Yesterday, I was at the red-themed big box store. In fact, it was a super bullseye. Meaningless fact, all of our Christmas shopping is done. My significant other and I were picking up some knick-knack gifts. So hard to shop for those on Amazon, and a few groceries. I was just browsing, and my arm gets grabbed, and I'm spun to the face this older man. I immediately recognized Bob, not his real name. "Hi, Bob." I interrupted his tirade that I mostly didn't hear, fully deaf on the right, 80% on the left. "I see you've still got the scar on your cheek." As I'm saying this, Bob turns pale as a ghost and then runs away. No exaggeration of the term run either. Fast as he could go. Why? Well, that's the more interesting part. Several years prior to this, I was in the same store during the same time of the year. Now, well, yesterday, I wearing this make your eyes bleed Christmas sweater when Bob and I first met, and I was wearing a nice Hugo Boss pantsuit. Also, I was as deaf then as I'm now. At any rate, I was putting one of those really fancy crock pots that did everything back on the shelf. My mom knew I was wanting one for our kitchen, so I would hold off for now, and if we didn't get one for Christmas, I'd probably be able to find one super cheap in after Christmas sale. So, I turned, and I started to push my cart along and my ponytail got grabbed and yanked hard. Thankfully, it was more discomfort than outright pain. I turn, and this guy lets go of my hair. So there's this guy. He's about like 6'2". I'm 5'4", by the way, mid-50s, expensive clothes and jewelry. Facing him, I could make out what he's saying. M is me, B is Bob. Bob: "Tramp, how ducking dare you ignore me like that? If I had more time, I'd put you in your ducking place. Now get the duck over here and ducking help me." Me: I don't work here, not to mention it seems you're an insufferable prig. Go screw yourself. I turned and started to walk away. Bob, do your ducking job. Bob grabbed my arm and swung me around again, getting 3 inches from my face and screaming/spitting. What the duck is wrong with you? You cannot ducking talk to me like that. At this point, Bob made his worst mistake. He knocked up his hand in my turquoise top and raised his other hand like he was going to slap me. At that point, I'd had enough of Bob. I need to mention here that I spent part of my time in the corps doing hand-to-hand instruction. So Bob and I do Cedo for a couple of seconds, and then on the way down, the side of Bob's face hit the edge of the bottommost shelf and laid his cheek open pretty good. I had my knee in his back and his arm torqued up so he wasn't going anywhere. Due to all the noise of Bob screaming, hitting the shelf, etc., there were several people looking to see what happened, including a store associate and my significant other. I don't remember this part, probably from the adrenaline, but my significant other swears I told Bob to stop moving so I don't have to hurt him any further. Nor do I remember asking for someone to call the police as this butthole tried to hit me. Police arrive, I release Bob, I get handcuffed, EMT tries to fix Bob's face, arguing ensues. Bob claims that I attacked him, claims that I'm faking being deaf. My significant other asks police to check the security footage and they do. Bob is arrested and eventually charged with assault. I have to go and fill out a statement, but I'm let go. Bob was found guilty of assault. Didn't see Bob again until yesterday. He was older, heavier, and didn't have the expensive clothes or jewelry this time. I just waved him a bye-bye as he ran away. It seems that sometimes you really cannot teach old dogs new tricks. Well, Bob treats people like dirt, and Bob is taught a lesson, then Bob forgets. Don't be like Bob. On to the 5th story. My baby and I don't work here. There's a small thrift store for Jesus type store no more than 2 blocks away from my house, and I spent a fair amount of time there. It's cheap, it's close, and baby grows like weeds. I know a couple of the ladies that work there. You try taking a baby to a store staffed by mostly grandmas on a regular basis and not to get to know them and the layout of the store. Fast forward to yesterday. I go to the store, say hello to grandma lady on the cash, exchange mindless chit-chat, blah blah blah. There's only 3 other people in the store, an old guy and what looks like a middle-aged daughter with her elderly mother. Pretty typical. I start shopping, hanging clothes off the stroller bar, very clearly shopping. Babe leans out of the stroller and pulls some shirts off the rack, so of course I put them back on the hangers and hang them on the bar and continue shopping. Go over to the toy section, and there's the mother-daughter team trying to get a board game off a high shelf. Since I'm much taller than them, I offer to grab it for them. They accept, I hand it over, and they thanked me. Pretty run-of-the-mill for me. It's rare. I go to a store and not help a short person reach something. I make my way over to the houseware section, and this is where old guy makes his entrance. Old guy holding a blender type thing. Old guy holding a blender type thing. Do you check to make sure these things work before you sell them? Me, I don't know, but they have a plug near the cash to test things. And I take my stroller and try to walk away. Old guy. How do you not know your own policy? I should point out that the employees dressed however they like, but wear a bright red vest with the shop's name all over it. I'm wearing a coat and pushing a stroller? Me, I'm sorry, sir, I don't work here. Old guy now very aggressive and a weird purple-red color. Bullcrap! I just saw you stocking the shelves and making a sale. Don't you lie to me! Me, I'm sorry, I was just picking up after my baby. Makes a gesture to the stroller I'm pushing that has my purchases on it and helping those ladies. Old guy. Oh, I see. You helped them, but you won't help me, eh? Is it because I'm a man? Get me your manager! By now, of course, Grandma Lady has noticed what was happening and came walking over. Grandma Lady, sir, we don't allow people to abuse our customer like this. I'm going to have to ask you to leave if you don't stop. Old guy, she's not a customer, she's an employee. I saw her. Grandma Lady, sir, she doesn't work here? Old guy, BS. I don't work here, and neither does my son. It's like he hadn't noticed the baby before, despite the giant stroller I've been holding onto the whole time. Because he looks down and his face got even more purple red and grumbled, BS, and walked away. I finished my shopping, checked out, and had a nice giggle about the whole deal with the lady. Well, you should have pulled the baby out of the stroller and told the old man, here's my manager. On to the final story, Confuse a Karen. I popped into a local shop yesterday for bread and milk and a few other bits. It's fairly cold, so I'm in my outdoor coat, hat and gloves and look nothing like the sales staff. I was searching for bread sauce when I hear a throat being cleared noisily nearby and a very brusque, impatient lady's voice saying, "Excuse me." I think to myself, it's the dreaded Karen, and I recognize that voice. This one I'm pretty sure I've met before. I know that saying, I don't work here won't work, but this gives me an idea, a little experiment if you will. So I turn to her and say, the manager, just the person I want to see. She looks at me with a priceless expression of confusion, mouth silently working as she tried to think of a response and says, relatively meekly, But I don't work here. I replied to her, oh, don't you? Oh well, I do apologize, so what do you want? Nothing. And walks away looking like the walls of her mind had just collapsed. I'm using this one again. Wow, that is some smart reverse psychology there. Nice. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.